here's how you do it. Gotta get that Antares habitat first. There it is. The mono-wing cabin has a snap point on the front, and that's it. Now we'll go ahead and get our reactor. I use the J-type from the Star Wars ship because it's really small. For a shield, I'll go with the another small shield. N1M. Weapons I'll worry about in a second. Bay. We're gonna need a bay, so let's get one. Is this the one I want? Yes. Okay, so now the landing bay, obviously, you're gonna need a cockpit and a bay, so we need a habitat to go in between those two. So let's get a habitat with more than one snap point. I tend to go with the graphs habs just because they have a lot of stuff in them, you know. Those are down here at the Nova parts. Nova. All-in-one berthing. Yeah, I'll take that. Alright, so now we have a 1x1 habitat snapped onto our mono-wing cabin. This allows us to put the bay right there. And then we can get a cockpit on there. And I'm just going to go with this one. Okay. Now, let's put our reactor on board. Right on the cockpit. I mean the habitat. Here's the shield. Now we need some other essentials. Let's look at those essentials. We're going to need a docker. So I believe I did a side-mounted docker. So let's do that. One-of-a-kind dockers. Gives you the Omni docker, which you can face any direction. If you take it on the left side, or the right side, it will work because the wing flips vertical when it flies. Engines. I like to use the Avon warp engines because the top speed's 300. I'm going to go with top mounted, but we're not going to put it right here, and I'll show you why. Creates a funny bump in the line of the ship, and I don't want to do that. And let's see, we need fuel. N1M fuel. This comes from the Mandalorian ship. So there you go. We don't need gears, pretty certain. But I am still going to use a gear. I like this one. And we can't put it here because that will clash with the ladder and the base. So I'll show you what we're going to do with that too. The engine and the gear. They're going to be working together with these new parts. Grav drive, we need a grav drive. So let's get a small one. Go with the N1. N1 and J-type Star Wars ships give me all these micro modules. Very handy. Now let's see what errors we got. Unattached modules, docker, landing gear touchdown points. Alright, perfect. Everything else is fine. Now, if you go over to your structural pieces, I am using these things called Gillibrand. These Gillibrand plates. Now look at this. It's just a snap point with extra snap points. Very handy. Okay, there's one sideways. There's one like this. Okay, and you can expand them. Press left and right to change the position of those snap points. Now here's the cool part. I can put that snap point on this landing gear, and then I can snap the other end of it onto this. This way, the landing gear can still exist, and the ladder is still usable. Now it's a little far forward, so if I wanted to go further back, all I gotta do is copy that Gillibrand plate and just like and snap it to that snap point. And you can adjust these as far as you need, man. So like, that's a little bit further out. That's gonna work for me, I think. There we go. It's got a landing gear snapped onto the 1x1. Now, utilizing that same technique with these Gillibrand plates, we're gonna snap everything else on here. Now, for example, I need these engines to be a little bit further back. So what I'm gonna do is put them on Gillibrand plate. I want multiples, so go ahead and copy that a couple times so we get 3 engines. Then we'll take that whole structure, make it go right here. Now, there's a big gap right here, obviously you can see. And I do want to have engines in the back because as of now there's no engines. So, let me go over to cosmetic engines. And I'm just going to grab something basic. Let's get Supernova. Yeah, the Supernova is basically the right size for that. Okay. So again, there's no snap points in the back, so we're going to have to drag the sideways snap point all the way back here with Gillibrand plates. And the thing about this is that this snap point is not centered. So what we could do is use a Gillibrand plate to center it. And then we take these longer structures like that, just copy them. Just keep copying them until you think it's long enough, and then, you know, just go measure it. Like, that's probably good, right? Alright, cool. So now we're just going to take the habitat out, and we can snap this on. Alright, so now we get this whole thing. Looks like we need it just a little bit further back, so then you just, you know, you adjust it. So that means this last one's a little bit too far out. Or no, not far enough, right. No, too far out. So we're going to snap on that snap point. Let's see where we're at now. Yeah, perfect. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. So now just to fill in that gap on top, I'm just going to get some Nova pieces. That's under structures. And I've got a massive list of parts, so Nova is way down at the bottom. But hopefully this build guide's a little bit easier. You guys can see where I got the parts from, as well as full assembly of the vehicle. Falkland parts are really cool. Skipping past those, just gonna go with regular Nova. Nova, okay. Get some Nova cowling. Now, this is a notorious... this Nova piece always extends over the front of that. So like, watch, if you take these, you put this here, it's gonna extend past just a little bit, and I don't want to do that, so we're just gonna use this last Gillibrand plate to adjust the spacing on that ever so slightly. Like that. Then look at that. Oh my goodness. Perfect. So then let's copy that. And we'll just get all those pieces like that. And then we'll stick it back in. Make sure it lines up with that Docker. We are nominal. Okay, let's paint the whole thing. I like to go kind of darker on this. Color 3. Go with red, just to match the rest of the Antares stuff. Oh no, look at that. That's not good. That's extending past that point. Well, let's make an adjustment there. Let's get one more Gillibrand plate. minor adjustment here. There we go. Alright. We are nominal. We don't have any weapons right now. That's okay. You guys can put whatever weapons you want on your ship. That's how you build that thing. Let me take it into space and show you. So now I've got 2 copies of that ship, basically. I'll show you what the inside looks like. What it's like in space. This is the same thing, I just put weapons on this one. And I stacked a bunch more engines. Hopefully that build guide makes sense to y'all. You guys can ask whatever questions you want, and I'll put a list of the mods that I used either at the beginning of the video or in the description, so don't worry about that. Okay, here we are in space. Here's the cockpit. I've got my guns on the sides, so they shoot like that. Show you guys what it looks like in flight. Go with the orbital camera. There she is. Beautiful little ship. Alright, now I'll show you the inside. So that is a habitat. It's a workshop. I went with the Crimson Fleet cockpit. Crimson Fleet 1 by 1. And then we step into the new habitat with the rotating wing. There's our docker. Here's our bay. Okay. Pretty simple. Pretty simple interior. Not a very big ship. But I mean, man, it's just cool to be able to fly something like this. Anyways, I'm going to post this on Reddit and X and YouTube and all that so everybody can know how to make their own ship like this. I'll catch y'all later.